Hull has become known for many things. William Wilberforce's involvement in the abolishment of slavery to even guitarist Mick Ronson, but Hull's personal history lies in its fishing industry. The bustling sounds of the dock. Workers going from point A to point B, shouting to one another. The whirring engines of the boats as they depart. All sounds never to be heard here again. Only the cold sea wind remains, and a small memorial as a reminder. What may seem like a decrepit husk was in fact the largest dock in the world back in its prime, back when Hull was world famous for its fishing industry. My name is Ellis Atkinson. For my entire life I have grown up around fishermen. It was part of the family, yet I did not become one myself. Since Hull has become a city of culture, it begs the question on what they may do for this aspect of Hull's history. I decided the first thing to do would be to find out what people of my generation know of the fishing industry. My first port of call was to visit Hull College for answers.
Well, not very much to be honest. I can't say I know a whole lot about the fishing industry. I know it's got a big history. It used to be quite a large industry for this country. It isn't really anymore, though a lot of people are still fishermen, but that's about all I know.
It extends
Not a lot. They use boats.
quite far back into history, but is...
I know it used to be the main thing Hull had, and then in the 80s got shut down and loads of people lost their jobs. I think it was the 80s, but I didn't see.
Presently...
Don't really know that
it's
much.
like all but forgotten now, isn't it? There's the Arctic Corsair that's like moored up, but apart from that, I don't even know if there's any industry on it now, if it's just all museums now.
Quite small.
All that sort of area.
I mean, it used to be just what Hull was about, wasn't it, really? And now I have no idea. I don't know if anyone fishes. So...
This went about as well as I expected. No one knew anything about it. But why is this? Hull schools never brought the topic up, and aside from a few museums scattered around the city, there doesn't seem to be any reminder of the industry for the general public. You'd think the city would embrace this history, and yet there isn't really anything. In fact, the only reason I know anything about it myself is due to my family. I decided I wanted to get a fisherman's perspective on the representation of the industry in Hull, and to at least get their own stories in a hope to raise awareness for the men and women involved in the industry. My next stop was the flat of an ex-fisherman, a man who served on many ships himself during the latter parts of the industry, and witnessed the decline of the industry himself.
Hello, son. Welcome, coming in.
His name is Raymond Atkinson, or, as I like to call him, Dad. So to start simply, what is the fishing industry?
The fishing industry is it was like a community of thousands of people, where Ezra Road area, mainly Ezra Road area, while the men and the sons was at sea, some of the women and the daughters used to work in the fish factories, and it built Hull. The fishing industry was based on Hull alone. Okay. It was.
What was your experiences with the fishing industry?
My first experiences with the fishing industry was my mother. cleaning and scrubbing the house from top to bottom, on her hands and knees, scrubbing the carpets, even the outdoors, the step outside the house, and laying newspaper down, every step, every rung of the stairs, right through the hallway. And I knew then Dad was home, Dad was coming home.
Sounds like Nana.
It was, yeah. And when he did come home, he used to open his rucksack, and on top of the rucksack there was 3 big tins of Quality Street. And he always used to say that they'd met the goody ship, the sweet ship, out at sea on the fishing grounds. And later on in life, when I became a fisherman, I found out that there was no sweet ship, there was no goody ship. Yeah, that was my experiences of the fishing industry when I was a young lad. Yeah.
What kind of role did you have when you were fishing?
When I was fishing,
Yeah.
I started off Decalena in 1979, 1980. So you're talking, it was the end of the fishing era.
Yeah.
It was on its last legs then. But I mean, I was fishing 10 years. I started off with, like I said, Decalena, and I moved my way up to Spare Hand, and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was good.
What was the cause of the decline of the fishing industry?
Well, from the, like I say, I started in 79, 80, and the old fishermen that I sailed with, they always seemed to say it was the cod wars, and it was an intervention by America. Apparently they wanted an air base in Iceland, and the Icelandic says, well, you can have one unless you sort this mess out. It was the fishing limits.
Yeah.
The fishing limits, yeah.
What did you do after the decline of the fishing industry?
After the fishing industry, I had an interview at Seven Seas Codley Road Place, and I went for the interview, and I sat down at the interview, and the guy who was interviewing me, a fellow called George, he said to me, I'm giving you the job. So I said, well, haven't you got other people to interview? He said, yes, I have. He says, but if it hadn't been for people like you, being on trawlers in the fishing industry, this company would never ever have been built. He said, so I'm giving you the job. If you're willing to settle down and leave the fishing industry, it was finished then anyhow.
Yeah.
I got the job, yeah, and I was at Seven Seas.
How are you like now, even after all these years, after it's like declined?
After it's declined, upset because I don't think it should have declined. I think
Yeah.
we should have had more political power be at us, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I am upset about it, and I'm upset about the state of the Bullnose.
Yeah.
The Hull Bullnose Heritage Group, they're doing a fantastic job trying to get it established as a museum.
Yeah.
They're doing all they can, but yeah, we do need some help from the council and other people.
Do you think the fishing industry has been like forgotten now, basically, in terms of like modern day Hull?
Yeah, I do think it has. Yeah, there's not many of us about. I'll say us fishermen about.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people living in Hull now from European countries. They know nothing about it, absolutely nothing, and I think they should do. I think if it integrates them into our community, doesn't it? If they know about it and what went on and what happened and what the Bullnose is, I mean, the Bullnose is it's like a cemetery to us, because when I die, that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
My ashes are going off there, and there's many fishermen ashes have been spread off there. That's our cemetery.
Yeah.
It is, and people should know about this.
So you were more involved during like the latter parts of obviously the fishing industry.
Yeah.
Where would you say is a good source of information to find out more about, you know, like the earlier stages, like during more the 50s and the 60s?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can go up down Ezra Road and you'll find an old fisherman, and you can ask them anything you want to. There's also the museums in town.
Yeah.
There's also the, like I said, the Hull Bullnose Heritage Group. I'm a committee member now of there, and anything like that. You can get footage off YouTube, how hard it was, or it was like. Yeah. Your nana can give you a lot of information, Ellis, especially when your granddad was at home.
Yeah.
And now he treat her like a queen. He treat us like princes and princesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He really did. So any information you need about the fishing industry, ask your nana.
After chatting to my dad, he recommended that I find out more information from my grandparents. During the earlier years, they were a typical fishing couple. I decided I wanted to find out more about life as a fishing couple and what life was like at home. As much as I'd want to interview my granddad, he sadly is no longer with us. But luckily, I have the next best thing, my nana.
Is that alright for you?
Yes,
Elliot. Oh, Elliot, there I go again.
So many memories are in this small kitchen. Happy memories. Even after my granddad's passing, my nana still keeps those happy memories going. Since I was a small child, my granddad used to tell me countless stories here about the fishing industry. And now it's my nana's turn. She was a fisherman's wife after all, so I'm sure she has a lot to tell me. So, what can you tell me a bit about the just sort of how life was basically when Grandad was away?
Well, as I say, I had 4 children then, 2 boys and 2 girls. It was a bit lonely at times when the kids was at school, but you just have to, you know, get on with it and do the best you can. I used to spend most of my time while Grandad was away, my husband was away, with the kids. But when he come home, I used to, you know, try and split my time mainly with him because there was only home, 36, 72 hours at the most.
Yeah.
So that's what we used to do.
So was Grandad known as, is it the 3-day millionaire, basically where like just treat the entire family for like 3 days?
Yeah. Well, when he used to come home, the shops where we lived then down Wellington Lane, they always used to know when the dad was home because he always had money. They always went and bought stuff. It was like Christmas every time they, well, what they called settled, landed, and. As I said, the kids used to go mad. All the kids in the street used to come round and that, you know. And they always knew when there was a term was, because the women used to go from top to bottom scrubbing the house out. Even the step got scrubbed and everything. Yeah.
So did you live around the Hazel Road area as well then?
No, I never lived down. I've never lived down Hazel Road. We lived down Wellington Lane off Beverley Road when your granddad was fishing then.
Okay.
Before we moved here. So he always lived. Well, he lived down Kimberley Street before I met him.
Okay.
And then, as I say, when we got married, we moved down Wellington Lane. The 4 of them was born down Wellington Lane and that, you know. But as I say, there was only a couple of fishermen that lived around that area, you know. But as I say, when they come home, the shops, there weren't many shops, but they knew when the fellas was at home because it was like Christmas to them.
Yeah. Hazel Road, they always say Hazel Road always felt like a kind of like a big community where everyone knew everyone. Was it the same around Wellington Road?
Well, as I said, there was only like a couple of fishermen's families down there, but when they used to come home and we used to go out, they used to come home one day. The next day they used to like go and get settled, what they called settled, the money and everything. Then the wives used to go and meet them. Well, mainly, if it wasn't in Rainers, it was very rare I went to Rainers to meet him because I had to go further afield. We used to go in, it was King Edward, I don't know what they call it now, on the corner, you know, where Telephone House is, on the opposite side.
King Edward. Still the King Edward.
Yeah.
Still the King Edward.
Well, all the women and wives, all the wives used to meet the fellas there. Used to have a drink, go for something to eat, go get rigged out, come home. They used to go for a sleep and then used to get up and have a good night on the night time. And then maybe next morning or the day after they used to be away. So You used to have to console the kids crying when he goes and that, you know. But he always used to say, I'm not turning round. They never used to turn round. Or we used to say our goodbyes in house, you know, and that.
I remember my dad used to always say when you went to go meet him at Bullnose, they used to get the kids and throw them up.
Oh yeah, when they
onto
used to be coming in, they used to throw the banes on the ships as they coming through. Yeah.
Yeah. How busy was Bullnose? Like,
It was very busy them days, yeah. I never used to go every time he come home, well, because sometimes it used to be on a night time, you know. But they used to go down there and you could always, next day you could always tell a fisherman, because there was that immaculately dressed, you know, white shirts, lovely, it used to be nice to see him, you know, all enjoying themselves and that. But,
I think, do you think that Bullnose seems to be a bit ignored now, like basically now, because now it's all just abandoned now? Do you think it should be seen more as like a memorial area now?
At that Bullnose, because that is where they all used to go out and they all used to come back there. As I say, I go there regular to throw flowers over, because that's where I throw your granddad's ashes.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of fishermen, they see it as quite an important place now, because obviously that's where they used to always go off. But now, for me personally, I always see it as quite an important place, because that's obviously where Grandad was scattered. And I went with you that day, and it was still quite
But I think they should put something there for the fishermen, you know, all fishermen, whether they got lost at sea or not, you know. Because I mean, I think your granddad did about 15 years fishing. Then when it started going down, there was an advertisement in the paper for if they had a mate's ticket or a boatswain's ticket, they could apply to go in the Merchant Navy, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
He did 5 years in the Merchant Navy after that, then give it up altogether.
Do you know which ships Grandad sailed on?
He nearly always sailed in the Mars's ship. That's nearly all of them ended with Ella. Ella, he was in North Ella, Ben Ella, you named the Ellas, and he was in it. I think he was in Bay Ella with, there was like 4 of them. There was Freddie Scholes, your granddad, Jimmy Butterwick and Posh Allen. Them 4 nearly always sailed together, and there was nearly always on the Ella ships, you know. Yeah. But he sailed for them for quite a few years, did your granddad? Well, he took all his tickets through them, because when I met him, he was on he'd gone one step up from Galley Boy to Decilena. And when he was learning, going for his tickets and that, I used to help him with the shapes of the flags and that, you know. I used to hand them up, or did, you know, them Morse code. That was it. I helped him with all that, you know. And as I say, he took them all separate. He got to mate, so he didn't do too bad. As I say, when he was away, I just went to bingo maybe once a week, you know, with my sisters, or if there was a party going with my sister, the family, I used to go there. But apart from that, I used to just stop at home with the kids, you know, and just keep the kids happy till he come home. Then he was to say, when the goodie ship, he used to say the goodie ship come in, and they used to bring loads of goodies, and they believed that there was a ship that went out.
My nana provided some valuable information concerning the wife's perspective of the industry. My next destination was a small pub known as the Rainers, located on Hezza Road, the heart of the industry itself, which led me to the Hull Bullnose Fishing Heritage Group, a society of ex-fishermen who are trying to keep the memory alive. I met Jerry Thompson, the chairman, and Dave Smith, Dennis Remmer, Ray Coles, and my dad, who is also a member. This research we did about the decline of the fishing industry apparently had something to do with the cod wars, and I'm just wondering if you can explain maybe what the cod wars is and if any of you were actually involved in it.
Yes, everybody around the table was involved with it. The cod wars was a dispute against Iceland when they introduced limits. I think it started at 3 miles.
Yeah, it did. It started at 3 miles.
And it went to 12 miles and 50 miles, and in 1973, 200 miles. These didn't happen overnight. This happened over a period of years where they excluded the foreign trawler fleets for fishing their waters. When all the dust settled, we was invited to catch 168,000 tonne a year, which we did have the capacity to catch with the trawlers what we had left. But the English government fought for a bigger share of the catch, which we couldn't catch. 200 odd, 300,000 tonne a year. And at the end of the day, we was bad with the European fleets as well.
The thing is, when they brought the 12-mile limit out, they put a point to point. So in actual fact, you could be 50 miles going from one point to another point, and you couldn't fish them waters, too deep.
The territorial waters, and as every country in the world now have got fishing rights in their own waters. Unfortunately, we seem to share our waters with every nation going at the moment, which is flags of convenience. No hull trawler has fished the water since 1974, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about life after the decline of the fishing industry? Was it difficult to maybe find jobs, or did you get any kind of compensation or anything from it?
Well, our redundancy took us till the year 2000 to achieve.
25 years.
20 years. Regarding the work, a lot of the trawlers went into the standby North Sea production sort of thing, and although the fishermen was put out of work, the butchers, the carpenters, the net makers, the ice people, the filleters, it was a lot of people was put out of work overnight.
But I mean, it's like me now. When the fishing industry actually finished, I went on a bricklaying course, and I did that, for about a year. So then I went into the building industry. But just as I'd got started in that, I was offered a job in Saudi Arabia as a captain aboard of a dive support vessel. So naturally, I went out there. But the thing is, that lasted about 2 years, and then I was back again, and I stayed in the building industry. But out in Saudi, it was like being on Leslie Road. There was that many men from the fishing industry that had gone to join, the oil boom, shall we say, in Saudi Arabia, but all over the world actually. So basically, all the people from this industry scattered worldwide, and because we always had a good name for being, good grafters. That was it.
From 1973, the industry absolutely collapsed. The trawler owners got £400 a tonne to decommission each trawler, either to the scrapyard or to sell on. Although they got £400 a tonne for a couple of 1,000 tonne ship, they still got the money for selling it wherever they wanted to. We got nothing. We got thrown out onto the.
I think the final figure for the trawler owners was to decommission the ships was somewhat like 56 million.
£56 million they got.
And we had to fight 25 years to get our redundancy. We was classed as casual labour, so they said, "Oh, you weren't entitled to it."
Put a lot of pressure on fishermen as regards to quarters. Lost Iceland, so we was having to go home waters. We was having to do 3 trips. We were doing 17, 20 days, Cuxhaven, 24-hour turnaround, back to Shetlands, same again, 17 days, back to Cuxhaven, a 3rd trip, back to Cuxhaven again, and after your 3rd trip you had 2 or 3 days at home, then back and do it all again. So putting pressure on us regards time away, missing the families, etc.
See, I think I mentioned earlier.
Everyone.
I mentioned earlier about when the fishing industry declined. It wasn't just the fishermen that was chucked on the scrap heap, there was all the spin-offs in this city.
Yeah, massive unemployment.
Like I said, nobody could leave school in the 60s and say they can't get a job because the jobs was there for them.
So it was pretty much the main source of income for Hull as well. It was pretty much where most of the jobs.
You're going to see the Siemens kicking off. This industry was the first industry to kick off in this.
There's been reports of a super trawler in, I think it's Amsterdam, basically called the Kerkella.
She's in Bordeaux today. She's gone in for problems.
Okay.
She's in Norway. She's owned by some of the old trawler owners from Hull. UK Fisheries, they call it. It's Marzi's, and Iceland own it. She's a registered Hull trawler, Kerkella 87. She cost 300 million euros to build. There's two of them actually coming. She came to Hull 3 weeks ago and she was named in the King George dock. And can I just say, she's what we call a flag of convenience. She will never see the Humber again. She will never see the port of Hull. She's based in Bremerhaven, but she's got part of the UK quota.
Massive quota.
She's actually fishing off, is it Skraben, off southern Norway, opposite Stavanger-Bergen? Is it Skraben? She's fishing there, but she's come across a few problems and she's gone into port.
So she'll never come back, never come to
She
Hull.
will never see the colour of
So
our
probably
gates
no
again.
Hull fishermen on it then.
Not even for a reef.
So all the quota that they've got, you know, they keep for themselves.
So
we
never
don't
see it,
see
yeah.
anything.
I don't know if you noticed, there was no Daily Mail, no media, no big splash.
That's right, yeah.
They kept it low key, the name don't
That's the
show
thing
it.
we had to specifically, well actually it was you, wasn't it, who told us about it. Like we didn't find anything out about it, it was just from my dad basically.
Yeah.
And finally, it's basically the last question was, is there any events coming up that may involve the Hull Bullnose Heritage Group?
Yes,
that you want to speak about?
we have got planned on the 4th of, just 1 minute please.
April.
On the 4th of April, we have the third fishermen's reunion we've had in the last year. In this very pub, ancestral home of 3-day millionaires, a fishermen's reunion on Saturday the 4th of April. We have also, on the 6th of June, we're unveiling 8 memorial benches on the 4 corners of the boulevard to remember the 4 women from the Headscarf campaign, Lillian Bollocker, Mary Dines, Yvonne Blenkinstoff and Chrissy Jensen. That's 4 of the seats on the north side of the boulevard. On the south side there's going to be another 4 seats for the Cleveland, the Peridot and the Romanus, plus the Stern Trawler, the Goal. These benches are in the memory of the 4 women who's campaigned for the fishermen's safety, because these was fishermen's wives. You know, and when we lost 58 men in 1968, they stood up for us. They went to the government, to Downing Street, to campaign for safety, because we never had radio operators aboard the ship, so ships went away and nobody knew where there was, not like today and everything.
Since you were a lot of times sailing off the coast of Russia, which would have been obviously in the Cold War, did you have any kind of like dealings maybe with like Russian authorities, like maybe even boardings or anything like that?
I think we all did. I think I mentioned it last time that when, you know, if you was fishing down there and they was bringing their fleet out, they told you to clear off. And you had to.
Can I also say we've had a few scary moments of objects what we've trolled up, missiles and things sticking out the net and one thing and another.
So we get it back.
No way there. A few incidents where you was cleared away. You know, I've been on a Stern trawler, nobody around us, middle of the night. We're all on the deck. The skipper's radio down over the tannoy. There's an object come up stern of us, and it's been a Russian submarine come up to have a look what we're doing. And you know, it was a bit of a scary place to be.
I can imagine.
Scary. You remember that Russian that Shadow does in Corsair? Everything radioed him, flashed him, everything. Nothing was it. And he was there for 2 or 3 days, wasn't he? And as he left, he blew cock-a-doodle-doo, didn't he, as he left?
I think it was the, well I know it was the St Gilbert, wasn't it? That, I think just before I went to sea, she trolled a, what do you call him?
A man.
A man up, and they had it on deck, in the corner, forward, and then all of a sudden, they reckon what it was is that they got torrential rain and it washed all the salt off, and it detonated. And there was, what, 5 killed, was they? The skip?
4. There's a plaque here for the loss of the crew of the St Gilbert.
And she blew up with a man.
Is that the one that blew up with a man on the deck, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
And we had the family in here that night to unveil them. The bottom one, Clifford Crane, is it? Kane. That's it. His son and daughter unveiled that on the night in here. Wow. There was a few tears there.
I forget who it was, because he was supposed to sit next to me at school in class, and he never turned up, and he was pleasuring that trip. Powdrill. One of the Powdrills, and you know, I'd never seen that kid. He never even come back to
What's
school.
What's the skipper's name?
Ness.
It was Nessie, wasn't it?
Was it? Not Arthur Ness, it was the other one.
Sid, was it Sid?
Sid
Ness,
yeah.
And there's another thing that's been very hushed up over the years. I don't know about these lads, they probably know.
These passionate men are working as hard as they can to keep the industry's memory intact. And just from my meetings, I can see the sense of history and community that comes from what many people just saw as a simple job. This was their life. So the fact that this chapter in Hull's life being swept away makes it all the more saddening. There are many rumours of a bigger memorial being constructed at Bullnose. But will it change the public's knowledge of the industry? Or will the many passerbys on the nearby Cloud Sullivan Way just see Bullnose as another husk? It was then that I realised my dream, the one I had on Bullnose when I was just a lad, that I would be going sailing out on the sea, had grown up to be just like my great old dad.